Okay, greetings, everyone. Happy Monday. It's a beautiful day. Senator Mary Washington, chair of the Baltimore City Senate delegation. We are having a voting/discussion session today. I can see everyone, Senator Ferguson here, Hayes, Tar, and I see McCray is here as well. Okay, great. All right, so we are officially beginning. We're going to start with Senate Bill 554 because it's a little bit of old business. I know that there are a few amendments for us to consider for that bill. Just to remind us really quickly about what the bill is, could council tell us what the bill is, what it does, and then I'll take motions for the amendments that we have in front of us.
So this bill is altering the appointment process for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners. It repealed provisions relating to the Baltimore City Public School Board Community Panel, and it requires, subject to confirmation by the Senate of Maryland, for the mayor of Baltimore City to appoint 9 voting members for the board.
Great, thank you. And this body already passed the bill favorably, but we wanted to have additional hearings on the bill. We did that. And it's also our practice that if there are any amendments that even if we've considered the bill in its original form, and it's in the possession of the committee, that we also consider those amendments. So that is what we're doing right now. Okay, so who would like to go first with their amendments? Well, on the bill, I guess in terms of the substance of the bill as drafted, Senator Ferguson, you have an amendment that.
Could I yield to Senator McCray? His is easier, I think.
Okay, I like that too. Senator McCray.
I appreciate you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting, it was discussed in reference to the amendment that we were presenting. I'll ask Ms. Cannon if she can pull it up, but while she's pulling it up, I'll also give you a synopsis or description. I think that folks were in agreement in reference to paying the commissioners. I believe that is 12 or 13 of them, 11 or 12 of them that currently reside there, including the elected, a stipend. I had just put in as a placeholder 10,000, but there seems to be some level of agreement where it's not too high, but it's not too low, and it's respectful of the work that they're doing, especially because at this moment it isn't a paid board from that standpoint. Madam Chair, I also leaned in and I reminded folks that for 2 years I sat on the Board of Elections, and this was a paid board. I do know that the Board of Liquor Commissioners is a paid board. So we have paid boards in these different functions. The part that was brought up, and it seemed like there was some agreement, the part that was brought up inside of the amendment that I had last week, it stated that the student commissioner would not get paid. And that was boilerplate language from another jurisdiction. But we did find language where Senator Hayes had recommended, how about the student get a stipend for the scholarship? So if they go to any type of apprenticeship, they go to any type of community college, higher university, that their equivalent would go towards their higher ed or workforce needs from that standpoint. And we took boilerplate language from another jurisdiction to be able to insert that, and that was a good idea that would complement it. And that's the amendment that's being presented.
Okay, thank you. Anyone on the amendment? I do have some questions, but anyone else on the amendment? So, Senator McCray, I agree with our boards being paid. Did you clarify that this isn't a different topic? In other words, should we have another bill specifically on this topic? Or can you address that if you don't mind? I just would appreciate you addressing that part.
I feel like we were changing the functions of the school board. The school is still sticking within the one subject rule from that standpoint. And it's been something that's been widely discussed, studied over years in reference to it. So I do think that this is the appropriate time to amend it. I try my best to socialize things. So I socialized it with the school board themselves. I socialized it with our school CEO. Obviously socialized it with Senate delegation itself just to get their thoughts. So there was a broader discussion around it. And I have not found any level of disagreement that there should be some level of pay, but also 10,000 may be the sweet spot at this moment.
And I think that is uncontested, but the agreement is also, and I'm assured that using this bill as a vehicle to accomplish that is something that's appropriate and that we should do.
It's in the one subject rule is about the school board. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Is there a second on the amendment? Or a motion on the amendment, rather?
I would like the motion to move the amendment forward.
A second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. All right. So the bill is amended. Thank
Aye.
you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next, let's deal with the second amendment. Senate Bill to Senate Bill 554.
All right,
That amendment is drafted by Senator Ferguson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And
Are we able to see it? Is there?
so there
share
should be an updated version that was sent because there was a slight drafting mistake that
Okay.
took the current organizations that are listed in the law and was not included those.
I see that.
That was a mistake. So now there is a second version that includes both
I see that.
the ones that had been in the law and additional ones that have been mentioned. So let me step back for a second. There has been, I'm sure all of you all have gotten some outreach.
Sorry to cut you off. Where should we be looking to see the amendments? In the email or somewhere?
Elijah, could you just share it on the screen so people can see it? That way we have a copy and we can read through it.
Sure.
I haven't seen whether the one that we had was in the Google Drive or not. Additional groups, I think it is. It is.
Yeah, the one we have is the latest.
Okay. I can put it up, but or not. Or somebody could.
I think Elijah's doing that.
Okay.
All right.
So in the version it has the blue line version that includes the addition of the ones that were currently in law that are being re-added back is the blue line in this one. But the bill as drafted removed the community process and added a open process through the Senate confirmation process, through the open hearings through the Senate confirmation. There's been consternation of that the groups felt that they were being removed. Nothing in the bill as drafted prevented them from the mayor from having a process, from anything else. It just was adding a separate, allowing for a more open process at the local level. So this tries to get to the middle spot. And so what it does is it says that when there is a vacancy, the names would be submitted as they are now to the mayor's office of, I think, Children and Family and Youth. They would be vetted for sufficiency, for qualified sufficiency. And then there would be a required public hearing that would be where there would be a process to be designed, presumably as it is now, like the MOCFS does. And there would be required notice to the outlined groups that includes the groups listed, but is not exclusive to the groups listed. These are required notice, not exclusive as the prior version had been previously. And I think one of the issues that has arisen is that there are a number of groups that have desired to have a role in the process that have been sort of kept out because there is statutory language that only lists a specific number or a specific set of groups that can participate in this process. So this turns it into a public hearing, and then it allows for a 7-day grace period or rest period between the hearing and the mayor naming or nominating a board member. In that 7-day period, the idea of the amendment, of course, is not required, but the theory here is that a group or a combination of groups, as was the case previously, can submit their ranking of those names of those who presented at the public hearing for the mayor's incorporation and ultimate selection. So it hopefully requires a local process, broadens the number of stakeholders that are potentially involved in that process, and provides the opportunity for multiple forms of feedback. It maintains the Senate confirmation largely because in the previous version, there was a scenario in which the mayor's appointment was the final say, and there was a community group that had a prior vet. This allows for sort of one more check in the system that would not slow anything down because it would be an interim appointment as all current interim appointments would operate. And in fact, just like community colleges, and in some cases, much like Board of Liquor License Commissioners or a number of other local boards, at times people don't have to even appear during the session. They just go in as a local statewide appointee. Only on the request of a senator would somebody be requested to come in. So it adds one more check to the system that I don't think is overly burdensome or creates a significant barrier. And so that was the attempt to find a middle zone with this amendment process.
Okay, Senator McCray.
I guess so. It's a couple things that was being discussed. I don't know if that's the Senate confirmation where the person wouldn't have to come in, or the process that's being set up where the person wouldn't have to come in.
Well, I was sort of mentioning that the bill as drafted, as introduced, had Senate confirmation in it. And so in Senate confirmation, it is not required that somebody appear before the Senate unless requested. And so I think there was a lot of consternation that there would be a slowdown, or that the board wouldn't be able to that there would be problems with the Senate confirmation process. I'm just sort of referencing the fact that just because it's Senate confirmation would not slow anything down.
I wholeheartedly agree, but I do know that there are some, and you know it better, you've been serving on the Senate Nominations Committee, but there are some positions that are automatic and some of them
Agreed.
don't come. I like this as an automatic. I actually like the idea of the Senate confirmation, to be honest with you. The state provides majority of the budget. We're making big choices and decisions at the school board level. And I personally believe, even after efforts of engaging with the school board, that there are some that are responsive, but that's not the case for all.
Okay, thank you. Other, yeah.
Oh, I'd just say that I largely agree with you, Senator, that this wouldn't change necessarily that possibility.
And I think I would ask council to just confirm, it does nothing, does it remove or adjust any part of the bill as drafted, or does this amendment, like Senator McCray's amendment, add to what's already in the bill?
So this bill is it's adding a public hearing process. It's keeping the Senate confirmation, and then it's requiring notice and giving a time period in between the hearing and the appointment by the mayor.
Right. Okay. I definitely want to hear from the bill sponsor. Again, we're a body. This belongs to the body, but
Move the amendment.
okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. We will send this bill over. We will send these amendments along with our letter. Thank you. Or it's our second letter. I think we've done more work, Senator Hayes. We've done more work on this bill.
Hey,
it's good.
Because we have some brilliant minds in this delegation.
I think I like it. All right, let's all right, another bill. So Senate Bill 524. This is the juvenile records. I believe there are two sets of amendments, one by Senator McCray and one proposed by Senator Attar. So council, would you remind us of this bill?
Sure. So this bill authorizes the access to and confidential use of juvenile police records and court records by the Baltimore City Mayor's office. offices: the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, the Office of Children and Family Success, and the Office of African American Male Engagement. If the office is providing programs and services to children or to a child who is the subject of the record, for the purposes relevant to the programs and services. Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you, thank you. Also, will the amendments that are proposed, are they complementary? Are they do the amendments themselves contradict in any way?
They do touch each other a
They
little
do.
bit
All
differently.
right, then. Okay, then let's, okay, we'll deal with that. All right, Senator McCray, you start, and then Senator Attar, we'll see yours, and then we'll see how we can work it out.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I discussed this one last week too, and I think that there was consensus among the administration, the city's administration, DJS putting this together, but I know that the state's attorney, I believe, still had some level of concerns. Madam Chair, one of the things that I raised early on when the hearing took place and then after the hearing was that, in my opinion, when we're dealing with these juvenile records, these are a very, very sacred subject. And I just said that parental consent should be given on the front end, not the middle, not the back end of it. And what happens when you're doing that too, it's only thing it's doing now is making sure that what the parent is saying or what they're doing is accurate from that standpoint. But the parent has to sign off on that exchange of happening with those three specific agencies. Another opinion that I had was that, and I want to say that consensus got built around it. I didn't think that we should say Monty and. I thought that the agency should be spelled out. So that way that when we're dealing with this in the future, 10, 15 years from now, when us five are not here, that folks were very clear on our intent. So any agency that does want to do something like this should have to come back to the legislature to be named from that standpoint. I think that these three groups have the right intent in reference to trying to see how young people move forward. But I know that there are other groups that when folks catch adult charges, that they're trying to say, hey, we want to go back and see the juvenile record or things of that nature.
Correct.
And I'm not sure that that's not my intent, is what I would say from that standpoint. This has been socialized with the administration, has been socialized with DJS, the secretary herself, and both were in agreement with this respective amendment.
Okay, great. And do we have a copy so that we can see it on the screen?
Yeah, and it was also emailed to y'all offices too.
Yeah. And Senator, when I asked for it, I also is that I'm mindful that we are streaming, and should anyone want to actually see, I want to make sure we're being transparent. Okay. Any questions about the amendment? Okay.
Madam Chair, just really quick, the amendment that we have, it takes the other entities out. Is that correct, Senator?
This actually names those specific. I don't think that it should be or given the authority back over to, like, it should be specified from that standpoint. So the three that were asked for
right there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That number 9I.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the section, Senator, that
I can't see what it's very small on my screen.
It's your amendment. So I think it's so what we're having here, I see that there's a striking of the purpose relevant to the provision of the programs and services and the development of a comprehensive treatment plan. And that's revised. It looks like that language is revised. I don't know if council can explain that change, or if the amendment sponsor can.
So this section, actually, part of it came from DJS's testimony, where they requested that the MOU be more defined.
Mm-hmm.
And then this obtaining written consent was from the sponsor.
Got it. Okay, got it. So this is both a DJS and the not the sponsor, the sponsor of the amendment.
Amendment sponsors.
Right, great. And Senator Ferguson, you were asking about the list of the names of the organizations are being specified in the law.
That's page
So-
5, line 11, 9I. Yes, that's what he said.
Correct. So you have questions about that, because I also tend to not want to list out agencies, but I also support the idea that the senator is raising, is that we don't want it to become this blanket approval for multiple entities. So just my question is, what do you have anything else to say about that, or a question about that?
I guess, Senator McCray, was your intent to have all of those agencies listed?
Yes, I think that
Yeah.
Yep. So one of the things is that I never voted for any this. So these are folks that preceded me that worked out a MOU or gave authority for MOU to be done with Monty. I think that it should be clear that the MOU actually exists, who does it exist, and it coming back at some point in time to say, hey, here's what we are doing. But these folks are well intended. That's not the case for everyone, or possibly 10 years from now when these positions may change, or we have a different executive. Like, we need to be clear about what we are trying to do versus just giving that blanket, hey, you guys go do this, and it's okay for y'all to be able to do this, because we are touching on a very touchy subject.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and just another question. You were saying, are these entities that have already been provided legal or already in state code, have access to the data? So the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement.
To my knowledge, it's only one. So Monty's the only one. I think that, as they stated when they first did the hearing, they want to add these other two. It's not my intent to add these other two.
I see. I see. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Any questions on this amendment? So,
Madam Chair,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been having connection issues.
Oh, sorry about
I
that.
think now, so I missed a little bit of the conversation. But I do have some concerns with the amendment as drafted, and as we heard, it does conflict with mine. Mine does remove the agencies and leaves just Monsi in there. So I would like to move my amendment. I know we can't necessarily move both, or we'll have to
But we can
change both
talk
of our
about both.
amendments.
So Senator, I was
Yeah.
going to say, since we had this on the screen, we definitely want to pull up yours, and we want to come to some agreement, because I think the senator's main priority is that there is consent. That seems to be like what the senator really, really wants, as well as some type of way to really restrict who has access. So understanding your amendment, so we can see that amendment next. So Elijah, pull that up, and then we can decide how to go forward. And remember, what we also can decide to do is to figure out, over the next day or so, to come up with something that accommodates this together, if that's what the body wishes. And we can certainly have another vote on this well in advance of crossover. Okay, so it's important that we not rush it, and that we
I'm sorry, that's me again.
Okay, so is this the Senate? Okay, is this the Senator Attar's amendment? Okay, let's get that on the board. All right, Senator Attar, tell us your amendment.
Thank you. So I am gonna, if it's okay, I am gonna refer to Hassan Giordano in a moment about it. Would that be okay, Madam Chair?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. I know we discussed this, and this is what we discussed at our last hearing, when I was concerned that the state's attorney's office was not getting everything that they needed. This was crafted very, very carefully, working with DLS. Hassan and I, we went back and forth. So if I may defer to him so he can explain why it ended up like this, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Hassan, join the conversation.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Senators. It's real simple. We just, this amendment, it would just give the authorization that the juvenile records provided would then be authored and given to not only the state's attorney's office, but the courts themselves. So that way they have access to the juveniles that were a part of the program. It also goes and, as the senator said, takes and looks at just Monty. The current law has the mayor's office of criminal justice in the current law, which obviously has become the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement, or Monty. And we're in line with DJS's amendment, which is it to go to one entity and not three entities. And so that's what this amendment does.
Okay. All right. Members, what shall we do? We have two very different approaches. How do you, Senator McCray?
I just want to be clear that I actually talked to the secretary, and she was comfortable with the amendment, the DJS secretary, from that standpoint. So this, as the legislative council has stated, this works in DJS's in the document that I have, in the amendment that I have.
Sounds fair. Okay. All right. Well, I am ready to entertain a motion for one of the.
Madam Chair, I would like to move my amendment forward.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any unready? Senator Ferguson?
Just really quickly. So I think that the Senator McCray's amendment makes sense. And I just went back to the testimony for DJS that it does look like that they did name the three. And so I was just finding that the three are in there.
Yeah.
I don't understand the issue around the release of the records. And what I'm wondering is whether there is this outline of the MOU. I mean, look, I don't know that it makes sense that for all records at all times that there would be a prosecutorial access, but I do think that there could be some moment in time where state's attorney's access would make sense. And so I don't know to what degree it is prohibited or authorized absent some mention of it. And the program as a pilot, my understanding was that it was permissible information and that it was no longer. That's the thing. That's the part that I'm trying to get at. And so I'm wondering if there's a way to limit the access in conjunction to the MOU that has to be entered into between the mayor's office and the now I have the wrong one up.
Yeah, I was going to say right now we're talking about Senator. The first was Senator McCray's.
Yeah, and Senator Ferguson, it was stated by Ms. Cannon, Legislative Council, it was stated by the city administration that they have that ability to share that information, and it was already drawn out. When we left the last week, this discussion, I was going to take the lead on trying to figure that puzzle out, but what happened, just putting some intent language there. That way it's not that level of specificity when we're talking about these young people and people that's having their records, that's not supposed to have their records, but also just reiterating what was already inside of statute, making sure that the intent was there. I got a different reception from the state's attorney's office, and that's why I just said, hey, you guys figure that part of it out, because it was moving past what I felt comfortable doing when we're talking about juveniles.
Great. Senator Hayes, and then we'll take a vote.
No, when Senator Ferguson referred to the three different entities are the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety, Mayor's Office of African American Engagement, and the Mayor's Office of Education. All three of them are incorporated in this amendment.
Those are the three that are currently in the bill as drafted and the amendment.
In the amendment. Okay. Got it.
In the McCray amendment.
Okay. And there's a different, and what is the difference in the Attar amendment?
Well, I think there's a difference in there are substantive differences in intent.
Beyond the three. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm clear. I'm clear. Got it. Thank you.
All right. Yes.
Sorry, just one last question before. If the access for the state's attorney's office were limited to, in line 20, basically subsection 2(1)(b) defines the purpose and necessity of the disclosure, that would be in the MOU between the DJS and the mayor's office, that would then define the purpose for why they have the file in the first place. And so if it were access on the basis of that, to me, it would be perhaps disclosure would be reasonable.
So are you saying that the Second Amendment a TAR amendment wouldn't be necessary? Because that's already a possibility if
My
the state wanted to enter in that. Yeah, so
good.
yeah. Just for me on this amendment, I'll speak to in support of the McCray amendment. And I just want to just see if we can deal with that, because I believe there's a consensus on that. I'm not comfortable with us amending this amendment here. Perhaps we could take something else up later, but if we could vote this amendment and then deal with the next one, I'd like that, if we could.
That works for me.
Great. All those in favor of the amendment as drafted?
Aye.
Aye.
I got it. All those opposed? Great. Okay. Now the Second Amendment.
Do you want to move the bill as amended, or are we okay with the posture?
Well, move the bill as amended.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
great. So now we have another amendment.
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, Madam Chair. So I heard what the Senate President said, and I'm in agreement a little bit, but I do think that I may want to consider amending my amendment and coming up with something to ensure that the bill, before we pass it, it's clear, just so we don't go ahead and pass it the way it is, and then even with an MOU, we don't get to the same end result. So I would ask that we hold this bill and not take a vote on it now, and then.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but considering that I believe we're on that commit, well, that there will be an opportunity for us as a body to consider additional amendments if you go back and address that. But given the time, I don't want to hold that up, since there's support for the bill, there's support for an amendment. I'd like to just move forward.
Okay.
So do you want to withdraw your amendment right now? And
well, at this point, I'll withdraw it, and then and now that you've said on the record that we can come back and possibly.
Well, I said on the record that
if
any senator, we're able
Absolutely.
to address any bill, any amendment in the traditional process that we have, that can happen. So
Absolutely.
all right. Did anyone else have a question? Because we've now moved favorable. We're going to send a letter of support with this bill as amendment. Great, as amended. Senate Bill 8. Now I want to do a time check here. I think 877 should be straightforward. Senator Attar, Council, could you tell us the bill real quickly? I'll explain my amendment to the bill, and I believe we should be able to move that quickly.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question? Did we just vote the other bill out?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, can I be a no on that bill?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
All right. Senate Bill 877, could you describe the bill, please?
This bill authorizes the use of stop sign monitoring systems on state and local highways located in a school zone in the Mount Washington neighborhood in the 41st Legislative District in Baltimore City for 3 years. And it's going to terminate on June 30th, 2029.
So we have passed similar bills. What my amendment does is put it in the same posture as the other bills. Our other bills, there's no language about specific neighborhoods and et cetera. So it simply adds the 41st district to the existing language. So that's the amendment that I would, put forward, and I hope it's a friendly amendment.
Madam Chair, if I may, just okay. So I know when we passed it originally, we only included 2 districts. The bill itself, the way the law is currently written, it does include the Tacoma Park. It's not a full district. It includes one area there. So I was kind of trying to mimic that, just because it's a pilot program, and no other areas in my district expressed interest in this. And so I know the Mount Washington community really wanted it. So that's the reason why I drafted it the way it was. I'd ask, unless Madam Chair, you really want to push this amendment, I'd ask.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well,
I do, because again, this is the city, and it looks like we'll probably be moving towards being some sort of citywide thing. I think there's a logistical difficulty with trying to determine what's within a district. I'm also uncomfortable with revenues that, you know, anyone in the city can receive a ticket in that area. And so I'm uncomfortable with simply designating funds for, frankly, for funds for a more affluent area to, you know, for us to get, you know, when we know that there's great need in the entire district. So I just feel if we just do it as a district as a whole, or, you know, if, so that's my amendment. So I'd like to push forward with the amendment.
I had a question. Senator Tar, is Mount Washington in whole in your district? It's wholly encompassed in the 41st district, correct?
There is a part in Baltimore County, but this
Okay.
is, it specifically says.
But this is
Washington
specifically for
41st.
the city.
It is, it's just for the city.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
I'd like to move the amendment. Is there a second for the amendment?
Second, Madam Chair.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Am I the only one? I can't see. All those opposed?
Aye.
Opposed.
So three opposed? Oh, okay then. So this is very interesting, people. All right, so move the bill.
Second.
Any other?
So moved.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I oppose. Again, I'll just so that you know, I'll continue to be concerned about carving out portions when there's no specific, without specific delineation. Again, I think it's very problematic. I also would like evidence or us to kind of see where this is. So, all right. So the next bill is Senate Bill 816, West North Avenue. Yeah.
Yes, this bill is really simple. We talked about it already. Right now, WNADA can only fund like hard, tangible structures and things of that nature. This gives us an opportunity to expand it to include social connections, and so things like, you know, community newspapers and stuff like that, so people can have the type of social connections. And then there's only one other amendment, and that's you all should have that. And this also makes WNADA eligible to receive core funding as well on behalf of other smaller community associations. That's the bill in this title total.
Well, good. I appreciate it. That's a very generous amendment. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All those opposed? Great. Okay. All those in favor to the bill as amendment? Oh, sorry. I'll take a motion to approve the bill as amendment.
So moved, Madam Chair.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Senate Bill 816
If I could just be recorded as a nay.
as a nay. Okay. And finally, Senate Bill
Real
Senate
quick.
Bill 818.
I'm gonna go fast, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 818 is a very simple bill, state center bill. We have a couple of amendments to one to add the Maryland Institute of College Arts, which is a major anchor institution in the community. The other amendment is to change the name of the Mount Royal Improvement Association, which doesn't exist anymore, to the Bolton Hill Community Association, a proper name for the organization. The other amendments are essentially technical. There's one amendment that says, the technical amendment just says like we could receive any federal money as long as it's not in conflict with any federal regulations or whatever. Just technical language that was submitted on behalf of the agencies. And with that, Madam Chair, I move the amendments for Senate Bill 818.
Any questions on the amendments? Okay, any unreadiness to pass, to take a vote on the bill as amended? Okay, all right, I'll accept a motion on this bill.
Move the bill favorable as amended, Madam Chair.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Okay, opposed? All righty, great. Very good. Very good work, team. Very, very good work. There's no other business. We'll continue to consider things that we have in operating, but this is the end of our sort of official business, and we'll be doing as needed hearings, and we have a hearing this Friday, but after that, going forward as needed. All right, all of
Hey,
you
Madam
have.
Chair.
Yes.
Just FYI, we had the 40th district had one local district alcohol bill that was court and rules. I don't know if any of your districts had any alcohol bills. If you did, please let me know. We're going to have hearings on those bills this upcoming Friday. But if there's any other delegation bills or local district bills, please let me know because we're going to be hearing them in Senate Finance this upcoming Friday.
And let us know if there are any bills that we need to hear so that we can send a letter.
Yeah, I think we've already communicated with Elijah, but I wanted to be on
Okay.
the lookout for
All right,
any
great.
bills that you guys may
Very
have.
good. Very good. Okay. All right. This meeting, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
All right, a second. All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.